There's certainly basics that have to be done every day. So every morning, first thing, usually the first person in does an animal check. You just walk through the facility, check on all the birds, make sure everybody's okay, still alive, that kind of thing. And then their basic needs have to be met. So the cages get cleaned every day. The birds are getting fresh water in their pools. We clean up the previous night's dinner, so that's all nice and tidy. Certainly the patients in the intensive care unit need a lot of time and energy. That takes a big chunk of our day, especially in the summer months when we're really busy. We do maintain feeder animal colonies, rats and mice, for food for the raptors, so they need fresh food and water, their cages clean. So that, answering messages, we get a lot of phone calls with people with questions about animals, or they found an injured bird, what do they do with it? Or maybe they found an injured squirrel. So we do a lot of referrals, helping them to find help for the animals that they've encountered. For a bird to get to go back to the wild, a lot of things have to go well for him. So first of all, we have to deal with the injuries. So for example, a couple of weeks ago, a great horned owl came in and he had a fractured ulna bone, which is a bone in the wing. Actually, we have the same bone in our arm. And that bone, we found it because it was swollen. We could feel the fracture with our fingers. From there, we immobilized the wing so that he wouldn't be moving it and causing himself extra pain. We gave him, made him comfortable. He actually got some kind of basically ibuprofen for birds to take away some of the sting. He went to a veterinarian and she did x-rays and just evaluated to see if he needed surgery or something like that. Fortunately for him, it was a simple fracture, so it just needed to be immobilized so it would heal. So he's been, at this point, pretty easy to care for because his wing is wrapped. We have to keep him in a confined space. We don't want him moving around a lot. And just supportive care, feeding him, keeping him calm and quiet to the best of our abilities. The wing is healing nicely. So the next step for him is we'll get a follow-up x-ray, make sure everything's healed. He'll move into an outdoor enclosure soon, probably one that's 20 to 30 feet long, and that he can start to stretch that wing back out because, the muscles have been all tightened up in that. And start letting him stretch and exercise. When we we'll watch and evaluate. When he starts to look like he's moving very easily in that 30-foot cage, the wing is extending, he can lift up to an 8-foot perch, that kind of thing. Then he's ready to go into the final stage, which is the flight enclosure, which is a very big cage. It's 120 feet long, 20 feet high, 16 feet wide, and then he can really fly. He can really work those muscles, do U-turns in the cage, whatever he needs to do to build up his strength and his endurance. And then we'll keep an eye on him and watch and evaluate him from that standpoint. And when we feel he's doing great, he'll be released. If we do get a bird, say this great horned owl his wing doesn't come back online and he can't fly, then certainly we could evaluate his personality and his disability to see if he would be appropriate for an educational bird. And if that's the case, it might be a bird that will stay with us. It might be a bird we would send to another agency that's looking for an educational bird. If he stays with us, then we'll go through the training process with him. He'll need to be conditioned to deal with humans in a tight environment, they sit on our arms, so they have to be accustomed to being very close to a human for extended periods of times, having crazy things happen, like people with cameras looking at them, dogs and cats walking by, bicycles. So it's just a long process of conditioning him to deal with all of those situations. Yeah, and it takes it depends on the bird, but usually 3 to 6 months to get the bird really well conditioned and trained to dealing with being an educational bird. And then he'll be good. He'll be good to go for many years, hopefully, after that. I just really enjoy every aspect of what I do here. Certainly the birds are a passion that I have, but beyond the birds, it's the people that I get to work with, the volunteers. They are such an inspiration to me. I'm fortunate to be paid to do my job, which is like a big bonus to me. Certainly if I had another job, I'd be here volunteering. But it's the people that I see giving freely of their time, their resources, their energy to do this, and watching their enjoyment of it, how they enjoy the birds, and sometimes to see how they grow. when you sometimes you get someone who's had a pretty tough time and they're a little bit broken, and they spend a little time with the birds, caring for them and helping the birds, because the bird's broken too. And to see the two of them kind of parallel each other through their journey, and they both come out of it better. And just to see sometimes the growth that a person goes through when they are caring for these animals, and just getting to be in their presence is really quite healing, and it's fun to watch and appreciate. And sometimes, things get pretty hectic here and you don't always, stop and look at that. But every day, every now and then, you'll just go and like, wow, that person, like that kid was really introverted when they came, but they're handling the birds, and wow, he's out there and he's talking to 20 people right now with a bird on his hand. I would not have imagined for that kid 6 months ago that he would be doing that. So it's just getting to see not just the animals healing and going back, but also people and how it affects them. So I think that's what keeps me coming back, is the people as well as the animals.